Good morning. Good morning, fellow patriots. Welcome to the 303rd consecutive Friday meeting of the East Valley Red Friday Patriots. A huge thanks to each of you for joining us today in support of America's deployed men and women serving our nation overseas. And thanks to our YouTube audience for your support as well. Please forward our YouTube link to your family and friends, and especially to any active duty service members that you may know. Doing so will reinforce the tremendous support of our armed forces this Friday group demonstrates each and every Friday morning. Please stand and join us in our pledge to Old Glory. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Hank. Appreciate that. We got a little problem with lip syncing up there on that video. That signal is not getting back there fast enough. We're going to have to see if we can correct that. I have a quick question. How many of you have been to roughly 100 Red Friday meetings over our 5.5 years? Will you please stand if you estimate that you've been here at least 100 meetings? Go ahead and stand. Okay. And those of you that have been here for roughly 200 meetings, will you remain standing? Okay. How about 250? Will you remain standing? How about 300? Will you remain standing? 3 of us? 303rd meeting today, and 3 of us have been here for at least 300 of those meetings. That goes back a ways. I do have a few guests that I would like to take this opportunity to introduce this morning. First, I would like to introduce Jay Morganson. Jay, will you stand, please? Jay is Leroy McKimmy's grandson. Jay is active duty United States Army. He just completed 4 years and re-enlisted for 6. And he is...
Thank you very much.
He is an 89 Delta explosive ordnance disposal technician. Jay, you got a little bit of a dangerous job there. I don't envy you, but I'm glad somebody's willing to do it. So you just re-enlisted, is that correct?
Yeah, I re-enlisted about a year ago.
A year ago, after you completed your first 3.
Yeah, I was a little over 3. My window was open, and so I re-upped for another 6.
So during that 3 years, have you had any deployments thus far?
No, I was just in Korea for 1 year, but
I consider
none yet.
that a deployment. I consider that a deployment.
Not really. No wars happening over there, thank God. But
thank you for your service, and I wish you a very, very profitable and rewarding career. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Also, we have Sue Martin. Sue, where are you? Sue Martin. Sue is right here, and Sue is a guest of Joe Robinson. Is that correct? And you are a Wisconsinite?
Yes.
And you're going to be with us for a while since you do not reside here full-time, correct?
Right, yep.
You'll be heading back when?
April.
And you've got a few weeks before then, so can we expect you back here on each Friday?
We'll see.
We hope that we don't turn you off, but thank you for joining us today. Also, King Monaghan. King, where are you? Right here. King is a United States Marine Corps veteran. He served 1961 to 63. And you are also a Wisconsinite.
Correct.
So you'll be heading back as well?
May 1st.
May 1st. You are a guest of Phil and Dottie Todd.
Correct.
That's a pretty good relationship there that you've got. They're good folks.
Yes.
Thank you for joining us today, and thank you for your service.
Thank you.
Also, Jesse Valdez. Chico, where are you? Right here.
Right here. That's Pancho, the other side.
Pancho, did I not meet you here just the other day
Yes.
at the Apache Junction Chamber of Commerce?
Correct, yeah.
And you are a United States Army veteran. You served 1967. You were a radio telephone operator in reconnaissance,
Yeah, combat.
Vietnam,
Yeah,
Purple Heart.
yes.
Thank you for your service. Thank you for joining us today. Also, Kim Bedzina. Kim, way back here in the back. Kim, you are a guest of Will Morris, and my goodness, you hail from Alaska. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's correct.
And you also are a winter resident, so you'll be heading back home when?
Petersburg, Alaska is where I hail from.
Which is where?
It's the panhandle of Alaska.
Is it cold?
No, it's 40 degrees and wet.
I wish you a safe return home, and I hope that you're able to join us again before you depart. Thank you for being here today.
Thank you.
You know, recently Hank and I were over in Buna, Texas, and we were having a long overdue visit with some family friends. Buna is it's a little town in East Texas where virtually all of my relatives on my mom's side of the family were born and raised. They continue to live in Buna their entire lives, never left. While we were there, we stopped in unannounced on a third cousin that I haven't seen since I was a kid, Mac, and his wife May, whom I'd never met. Now, from the time we set foot in their trailer, I kind of felt there was some tension between the two, and I surmised it was May who was the perpetrator of the edginess. In fact, every time May referred to her husband, she called him Boob. Boob did this, Boob did that, Boob should have done this. May never called Mac by his Christian name the whole time we were visiting at their house. So when Mac suggested we all go outside and enjoy the afternoon sunshine, May headed to the kitchen to put together some lemonade and some possum pate snacks. And I said, what the hell, I'll help you out. And I followed May to the kitchen. Well, curiosity had gotten the best of me, and while I had the chance, I asked May, I said, what's with the name Boob that you keep calling your husband? I said, does that name have a hidden meaning between you two? What gives? She said, Richard, your cousin is just that. He's a boob from the time he gets up in the morning till he hits the rack at night. He's a real boob, so that's why I call him Boob. I said, May, I don't understand. Why is Mac a boob? May said, Richard, sit yourself down and I'll tell you why. She said, Richard, here's the story and I hope this explains it. She said, now follow me. This is straight from the scriptures. May said, when God created woman, He gave her not 2 breasts, but 3. But when the middle breast got in the way, God performed a surgery. The woman stood before God with a middle breast in hand, said, "What do I do with this useless boob?" And God created man. Guys, now that was not the story that I read long ago. But I figured, who am I to argue with a woman like May? So. You know, in a world where athletes and actors and musicians, internet stars are more commonly idolized, we should all be reminded to recognize and remember our military heroes who have gone above and beyond the call of duty. Next Tuesday, March 25, is National Medal of Honor Day. And this date was chosen because the first Medal of Honor was presented on March 25, 1863, during the Civil War. It was presented to 6 U.S. Army volunteers for their heroic acts. The Medal of Honor is the United States government's highest and most prestigious decoration that may be awarded to recognize American soldiers, sailors, Marines, airmen, Space Force guardians, and Coast Guardsmen who have distinguished themselves by acts of valor. The medal was approved by Congress in 1861. And it's normally awarded by the President of the United States. But as it is presented in the name of the United States Congress, it is often mistakenly referred to as the Congressional Medal of Honor. I think you will find that the living recipients do not view the Medal of Honor as something that was won. They view the medal as something that was bestowed upon them to carry as a symbol of sacrifice of all who have served. You, at some time in your life, may have heard the term Medal of Honor winner. But out of respect for those who currently wear the medal, the term recipient is the correct term to be used. National Honor Day was established to help foster appreciation specifically for recipients of the nation's highest military award. These brave individuals have demonstrated true valor. They risked their lives. Many have died in an effort to save the individuals they fought beside. Some recipients survived years as prisoners of war, such as George Bud Day, who was also posthumously advanced to the rank of Brigadier General. Bud Day, a major at the time, was forced to eject from his aircraft over Vietnam, broke multiple bones, suffered the agony of gunshot wounds throughout his captivity. He was eventually released after 5.5 years in confinement. I believe we'll all agree that the recipients of the medal should be held in the highest regard, and that March 25th is not only the day of the year that we should think about them and their selfless acts of valor. The Department of Veteran Affairs states that between 1861 and current year, nearly 42 million U.S. military service members have served during times of war. In the 164 years since 1861, 3,500 and 47 medals of honor have been bestowed upon 3,528 American servicemen. 19 service members have received 2 medals of honor. 1 in every 11,900 service members have earned the Medal of Honor. And while these numbers are still small when compared to those who served during periods of war, the sacrifices made are far, far from it. As of today, only 61 Medal of Honor recipients are still living. You might be interested to know that Mary Walker of Civil War fame was the first and only woman recipient of the Medal of Honor. Douglas Munro of World War II fame was the first and only Coast Guard recipient. And William Willie Johnston of the Civil War era was the youngest recipient at only 13 years of age. Also of interest is that only 17.5% of the Medal of Honor recipients have been awarded posthumously. Also of note is that all 3 of the United States unknown soldiers have been presented with a Medal of Honor in recognition of their sacrifice and the sacrifices of all who serve this country. Recipients of the Medal of Honor currently receive a special tax-free pension, currently set at $16,811 per year. However, last month, February, the Medal of Honor Act passed the United States House of Representatives unanimously, which upon approval by the Senate will increase this pension to around $67,500 annually, a nearly 4-fold increase. The pension is cost of living adjusted, and surviving spouses are also eligible for the monthly pension. On February 27, 2025, the bill was referred to the Senate Committee on Veterans Affairs. Recipients and their families are also eligible for priority Space A travel on military aircraft. They have access to base commissaries, guaranteed burial at Arlington National Cemetery with full military honors, and their academically qualified dependent children are offered appointments to the military service academies. On March 25th, the National Medal of Honor Day, I hope you're reminded that it's not only the number of awards an actress has on her mantle, or the number of home runs a baseball player hit in his career that can make them a hero. We should attribute gallantry, going above the call of duty, to perform acts of heroism as well. Please remember and honor the heroes that have been awarded the Medal of Honor. This morning, I'm pleased to introduce our guest speakers, both of whom represent Honor Flight Arizona. Rick Hardina, President of Honor Flight Arizona, and Diana Johnson, who is a board member and the medical coordinator for Honor Flight Arizona. Rick is retired from the field of psychology. He is not only the president of the organization, but also their photojournalist, documenting the trips with his ever-present camera. And he's also the president of his local business association. He is on the board of Adobe Gold Canyon, and he volunteers at a local museum. He also serves as an organizer for cruise line tours. Diana earned a Bachelor of Science degree in nursing, and she is a registered nurse. She comes from a long line of veterans. Her father was a World War II veteran. She was married to a Vietnam veteran. Diana served in the United States Navy Reserve and is a veteran of Desert Storm, where she served as a nurse in a fleet hospital in the Middle East. Diana has always had a passion for geriatric care and facility improvements, opening one of the first restraint-free facilities in the country. She has recently retired from a healthcare consulting firm out of Minneapolis that provided hospital, skilled facilities, and assisted living consulting to improve patient care across the United States. Diana provided education, regulatory, financial, and patient care consulting for various healthcare communities. She continues with her nursing involvement by volunteering for various healthcare groups, and she has volunteered with Honor Flight Arizona for over 8 years in both trip medic and medical liaison roles. Please welcome Rick Hardina and Diana Johnson.
Can you hear me back there okay? I'm not used to using this type of a mic, but if you don't, raise your hand and I'll speak a little louder. Thank you very much for the invite to tell you all about Honor Flight Arizona. Diana and I were here last meeting, so this is number 2 for us. And we're proud to say that we literally signed up 2 Korean War veterans who are here tonight for a flight coming up in the next few weeks. Where are those Korean War veterans? Here's one and there's the other. So they'll be flying with us very soon. And I know they will let you know that it was a very painless procedure to sign up and to get on our flights. Sadly, when the World War II Memorial opened back in 2005, by that time, Vietnam Memorial and Korean War Memorial had already opened. And by the time that 2005 memorial opened, 75% of our World War II veterans had already passed away. And that was one of the reasons that the physician's assistant back in Ohio decided to fly some of the World War II veterans that he was working with to the memorial to visit their new memorial. Most said, "Oh, I can't go, I'm not well enough, my wife isn't well enough, I don't have the funds." So they took some small planes, flew them there, and that was the beginning of Honor Flight Arizona. We currently have about 125 hubs nationwide. There are a few states that don't have honor flights, but the states surrounding those states will pick up all the honor flight folks from those non-participating states. We do 10 flights a year. We try to carry 35 veterans, usually 20, 25 what we call guardians, and 2 board members and 2 medics on each of our flights. So we literally, when we get back to Baltimore, where we stay, we have 1 busload every trip. And we do 10 a year, 5 in the spring, and then we'll do 5 in the fall. And we're currently wrapping up the spring flights, and then we'll start calling for the later ones. To date, we've probably taken about 3,000 veterans from Phoenix Sky Harbor. We love Southwest Airlines. They treat us like royalty. They're so excited to have us aboard, and we couldn't do it without them. We do pay full fare, but years ago when we started out, we were flat broke, and we had many free flights with Southwest Airlines. So we hold them dear. Every time we see an employee, we thank them for what they've done for Honor Flight. Ages of our veterans now, a World War II veteran is usually at least 100 years old. The babies of World War II would be 97, 95 perhaps for the tail end. And Korean War, I gave a presentation and I said, the Korean War veterans now are in their mid-80s, and a hand went up and he said, no, I'm 91. And then another hand went up. Of the 6 Korean War, they were all in their 90s. So we've got Korean War vets we're looking for in their 90s, and of course Vietnam veterans are in their 70s. The eldest person on our list goes to the top of our list. So if a World War II veteran signs up for our program, they will immediately go out next. Right behind them are the Korean War, and I see Korean War caps here. You will immediately go to the top of our list. We're age qualified. We want to get you out as soon as we can. To let you know also, very, very important, we're nonprofit. We get no government support, not one nickel over all these years. And we've been active in Arizona for 16 years now. We've been taking veterans on these flights. We were fortunate about 7-8 years ago, Gay Platt from Houston, Texas heard about us, and she said, I'd love to come out and hear about it. She was at Daughters of American Revolution up in Prescott. There was a presentation there. Her husband was World War II. He had passed away, and they owned oil wells. So she heard the presentation from our founder, Susan Howe, up there and said, I'd like to sign a check and send a whole flight. Well, back then it was about $35,000. She wrote the check. We about passed out a whole flight. She went as a guardian, came back, said, my God, I got to do this again. Well, sadly, about 2 years ago, she celebrated her 80th birthday down in Houston with her girlfriends. And 2 days later, she fell, hit her head, didn't go to the doctor. She passed away. So we lost Gay, and I was in need of writing an article about her. And in fact, every departure, we have her picture up on the wall at the airport. Come to find out, Gay had kept writing checks, and we lost track. And in addition to every vet, there was a bag of goodies for every person, and nobody knew it was from Gay. Come to find out, this little lady had sponsored 14 complete flights plus 11 guardians at $1,100 then, $1,100 a person who couldn't afford to go with their dad or their mom, over $500,000. So a round of applause, she'll hear us, Gay Platt. Those are the folks that have kept us flying over the years, plus a lot of organizations, American Legions, the VFWs, a lot of organizations have events for us every year, so the phone's ringing off the hook, small, large, they all help. To let you know also, we started out with World War II, Korea, Vietnam. We are really glad to let you know that now we will accept any veteran who served from World War II all the way up to, I believe it's April of 1975. All the tweeners, the ones that were in between the wars, no matter where Uncle Sam sent you, we will take you on an honor flight. We hear from veterans, oh my God, I wasn't frontline combat. Many people were not frontline combat. We take everyone and we don't question where you served. Uncle Sam pointed the finger, you went where he pointed. So we will be honored to take you on a 3-day trip to your memorials back in D.C. What we do, it's a 3-day trip. We fly to Baltimore. The Hilton Hotel there is cheaper than downtown. The flights are cheaper than downtown. So we bus in and we bus out from Baltimore on the 3-day trip. We stay at the Baltimore Airport Hilton for the 2 nights. Everything is included, completely free trip for the veteran. And each veteran, most veterans have what's called a guardian. The guardian is usually a son, daughter, granddaughter, grandson, close friend who can afford $1,300 to go with them. And all we hear from the veterans when they come back with their sons and daughters, granddaughters, grandsons, is it was a life-changing trip for both of them. The veteran can pay the $1,300 or the guardian can pay it, and it's not due till a couple of weeks before the flight. So just to let you know, if you think you'd like to go with someone like that, let us know on your application. The one thing we can't allow is the wife to go with the veterans, and this has been from our headquarters from years ago. If you go with your wife, who are you going to talk to for 3 days? Your wife. The other thing is, the guardians must be able to push a wheelchair up to 6 miles on day 2, load wheelchairs, unload. It's really strenuous. So if we put an 80-some-year-old wife with the Korean veteran, they're going to both wind up in a wheelchair by the end of day 2. Now, what do we see on day 2? We call this our long day's journey into night. We start with a big buffet breakfast at the Hilton. We visit the Navy Memorial, Marines Iwo Jima Memorial, Air Force Memorial, World War II Memorial, and that memorial alone covers over 7 acres. The Vietnam Memorial and the Women's Vietnam Memorial, Korean War Memorial, the Women's Military Memorial, and also, we're not in the cheap seats on this one, changing of the guard at Arlington Cemetery. You're not up in the bleachers. You're right next to the tomb during the changing of the guard. Really an emotional experience for everyone. Again, you do not have to be a combat veteran. We welcome lady veterans, and it's so great to be here today because it's so hard to find lady veterans for our trips. And when they do go, we have some surprises for them. In fact, we have a lot of tricks up our sleeve for all the veterans that go. You won't know about it till it hits, but a lot of tricks up our sleeves. Now, I have business cards over here. I'll leave them. What we'd like you to do is take one of these cards, and Diana's going to tell you a little bit more about signing up online. We also have forms that you can fill out and mail to us, but the online is quicker and it's easier. We don't have to retype everything that you handwrite, and sometimes that's tough to read the way sometimes people print. But we'd like to take a business card, put it in your wallet or your purse, and find some other veterans. Look for the caps like we do everywhere we go. We're like bees on honey. Watch for the veterans and help sign them up for an honor flight. I always tell people, check in there's 3 C's where you want to be very aware for the veterans. There's church, Costco, and casinos. You'll find a lot of them in casinos. So if you are not, the important thing, if you are here 6 months out of the year, we're taking you on our 3-day trip. Don't go back home, back east, where you're going to get a 1-day trip. Out in the morning, back at night. Fly with us, enjoy 3 full days to really enjoy the trip. So you're more than welcome to be here. If you're here 6 months of the year, when you fill out the app, put down your Arizona address, and we'll gladly take you on the flight. If you are mainly from another state, go to honorflight.org, click on your state, find the nearest hub, and sign up at that location. But we'll take any questions after. We have a short video also to show you of the whole program. And I like to stick to my notes because I've been with this like 14 years with Honor Flight Arizona, and we can ramble on stories for years. I gotta say, I asked last question, how many here are graduates of our program? How many have flown with Honor Flight no matter where, whatever state? Stand up if you could. Oh, yeah. Yeah, no, not the same, not the same. When we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right. Okay, that's great. And may I say, we got Lou back there, World War II. I think that wraps it up for me from here. I don't want to overdo this, but Diana will be up next, and she'll tell you a little about. We'll do you, and then we'll wrap up with a video, and any questions after that.
Hello. Welcome to our World of Honor flight. I was so excited that so many of you guys have already been, and I'm thrilled that there's so many women. A couple of things I want to cover. I let Rick go first because I talk too much. One is the medical needs of anybody signing up. We have 2 medics, and they're very, very experienced. So we have some doctors, we have air flight nurses, medics, and whatever. We try not to take anybody that can't dress themselves or care for themselves, but if they have a guardian that can do that, we take them. We take people on dialysis, oxygen, insulin, all kinds of different people, and we want you to feel comfortable that there will be people there that can help take care of you. In fact, I'm going April 9th as a medic, and so they're really, don't be afraid of that. And if you have any questions, that's the time to give us a call or check on the Honor Flight website. The second thing I want to talk about is online. Did you have a question? Or no, he's just waving at them. Okay, the online. The online is not as easy as it could be, but it isn't our fault. If you go to Arizona AZ, and if you get a card, you'll see it, .org. You don't need to write it down. And you'll see the picture of an honor flight, and then down below it'll have veteran, guardian, and volunteer. And if you go in to learn more, there's an application. The thing we found out by filling out our applications for other people, when you get to the very end, it'll ask for the second emergency contact, and if you don't put 000, it won't close. And I do feel that people like Dave over here that probably put it in online, it didn't ever submit it because I've checked and it's not in our system. So if you have any problems, that's what we're here for. You guys know how to get a hold of us if you'll take a card. But it's a simple application. If you think you've put it in already and you haven't heard anything, check with me. I brought my computer, and the one thing, Rick has got more experience, but I'm better at a computer. So please, we want to get everybody signed up. That's our goal, is to get every veteran in Arizona. And as Rick said, you don't have to live down here full time. We have a lot of winter visitors. I think that's the term now, not snowbirds. Okay, so the other thing that I'm most excited about is we are going to, we put together with Daughters of America Revolution, and we came together and met with the state region, and we are going to have the first ever all-female, all-DAR flight, April 7th, 2026. Now, what this is, America 250, so it's going to go along with America 250. We need more veterans. We have about 100 guardians wanting to go on the waiting list, but we need more veterans that have been, and again, the reason right now, I went to the national meeting of Honor Flight, and they asked, why aren't they opening up to other ages like me that was Desert Storm? And it's because our memorials aren't built yet. Once our memorials are built, then they're going to open it up to other wars, and so that's the reason. There's not really anything for us to go back other than what's already built. So our DAR flight is going to be special. We're going to be able to go to Continental Congress. We're going to be able to go to Continental Hall in Washington, D.C., and it's the largest owned female building in Washington, D.C. We're going to be able to go to the Women's Memorial, and not only are we going to go there, they're going to have dinner for us. So the reason I'm talking about this is we don't have enough veterans. So How many here are female veterans? Okay, so we just have a couple. If you guys know any out here, we really would like their name. We can help them get into the Daughters of American Revolution. And you can help, basically, if they have a family member, a blood relative, a sister, a cousin, a mother, anybody that has been in it, it's a pretty easy process to get into it. And it is 100% not-for-profit organization. It's the largest women's organization, and our whole mission is to serve, and we have a lot of service hours. So we are really excited about that. So hopefully you guys will hear a lot more about that. So that's kind of what I have to say. So I think we're going to watch the video, and I downloaded it, so hopefully it's not one of my bad videos. No, I don't have any really. So, but I was in the Navy.
Over 20 million Americans have fought on the battlefields of World War II, Korea, and Vietnam. Of that, 16 million veterans served in World War II alone. Many of our surviving veterans have never been to Washington, D.C. to see the many memorials honoring them for their service and sacrifice for our country. This all changed in 2005 when Jeff Miller and Earl Morris created the Honor Flight Network. It started with 6 small planes that flew out of Springfield, Ohio, taking 12 veterans to our nation's capital. It has now grown to the point of taking our veterans on commercial aircraft of an average of 22,000 veterans a year. In 2022, the Honor Flight Network celebrated having flown over 250,000 veterans to see their memorials since its inception. This could not have happened without the support of thousands of volunteers from the over 124 Honor Flight hubs across the country. Honor Flight Arizona is a nonprofit 501c3 organization with no government funding. We owe our success to the many volunteers that support its mission to serve our veterans. It also would not succeed without the financial support that it receives from individuals, groups, and corporations. The current cost to send a veteran on a 3-day trip is $1,300, and the veteran never pays for their trip. This fee covers such expenses such as airfare, lodging, meals, bus transportation, and other minor expenses. Even a small increase in cost can greatly limit the number of trips we do each year to honor our veterans. To learn more about Honor Flight Arizona, please visit our website at honorflightaz.org. Your financial help keeps us flying our veterans as a thank you for their service. Thank you for your support.
I would like to see that video that you're talking about.
You have.
Was it produced while you were in the Navy?
No comment.
On behalf of our East Valley Red Friday Patriots, I would like to present you with these certificates of appreciation for your untiring and selfless support of the United States Armed Forces, national veteran initiatives, and for our U.S. deployed service members. We want to welcome you to the Order of the R.E.D. Diana?
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Can I have a...
And hang on 1 second. Hang on 1 second. We would also like to present you with these Red Friday lapel pins. These are pretty coveted pins around this organization. So we hope that you will take pride in wearing these. And if I may,
If we can get a picture with the both of you two,
Yeah.
all four of us.
Nervous. I know. Thank you.
Is that it? Yeah, let's get a picture with,
well, 1 second.
Oh.
I want to put this on before you stick yourself. And one more. Those look good on you.
the real, we'll keep it
Those
there.
look good on you.
We'll keep it there.
Hank, will you take a photo, someone? Thank you. Good.
Great.
Thank you. Do appreciate it.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Rick. Can I have a hoo-ah for these guys? Hoo-ah! Well deserved. I do have a couple of announcements I would like to make. You've heard these announcements before because we've been promoting these upcoming activities, but I sincerely hope that you do plan to participate. Tomorrow, Saturday, March 22, from 9 to 12, a workshop on navigating healthcare options for veterans and their families. It'll be held at the American Legion Post 2, located at 2125 South Industrial Park Avenue in Tempe. Chuck Byers will be hosting that workshop, and there will be numerous healthcare professionals that will be in attendance. They'll be delivering presentations on numerous healthcare topics. On Monday, next Monday, March 24, from 9 to 4, our Red Friday group will have a manned exhibit booth at the Veteran Stand Down, sponsored by Sunland Village East. They are located on Lakeview Avenue in Mesa. The event will be held in their auditorium. Numerous veteran services are going to be represented at the event. They anticipate having upwards of 1,500 veterans in attendance for that function. I hope you plan to attend that. If for nothing else, just to come by and say hi to me. Also, we do have some guest speakers that are scheduled for coming weeks. I'm confident that as we did today, you will support these folks that are joining us to make presentations on military-themed topics. They've supported our program. We definitely need to support them. And finally, please, as you make your exit, leave your name tags at the back greeting table. To our guests, first-time guests, thank you for joining us today. Certainly hope you will join us again. Please know that you will always be welcome at our Red Friday group. And as a final reminder, let's not overlook the importance of our mission to keep our deployed warriors in our thoughts and our prayers, and continue to demonstrate our support for these fine men and women. Enjoy your weekend.